The need for speed, a century in the making. Motor racing, it's in our blood. The roar of engines, the smell of burning rubber, the thrill of the chase. For over a century, humans have been pushing the limits of speed and technology on four wheels. And nowhere is this pursuit more intense, more glamorous, more downright bonkers than in Formula One. From humble beginnings on the bombed-out airfields of post-war Europe, F1 has evolved into a global phenomenon, a showcase for cutting-edge engineering and death-defying driving talent. This isn't just about going fast, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible year after year, race after race. But it's not just about raw speed, it's about the constant evolution of the cars themselves. Over the decades, F1 cars have transformed from rudimentary machines into technological marvels, shaped by relentless innovation, fierce competition, and tragically sometimes by tragedy. So buckle up, petrol heads, as we take a white-knuckle ride through the history of F1 car design, from the groundbreaking innovations to the spectacular crashes that have shaped the sport we know and love today. The dawn of legends, F1 takes off. The year is 1950. The Second World War is a recent memory and a new era of speed is dawning. The first official Formula One World Championship kicks off at Silverstone, with drivers piloting what looked like sleek, souped-up versions of your granddad's Roadster. These early F1 cars were rudimentary beasts, with skinny tires, open cockpits, and engines that sounded like angry sewing machines. Safety? Well, let's just say that drivers were considered brave, if not slightly mad, to strap themselves into these rolling bombs. But what these cars lacked in sophistication, they made up for in raw passion and a thirst for victory. Names like Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and Ferrari, of course it's always Ferrari, battled it out on tracks across Europe, driven by legends in the making like Juan Manuel Fangio and Alberto Ascari. These early pioneers pushed these fragile machines to their limits, laying the foundation for a sport that would captivate the world. Rear-engined revolution, a change of heart. The 1950s were a time of experimentation in F1, but the 1960s saw a seismic shift in car design. The arrival of the rear-engined revolution changed everything. Up until then, front-engined cars were the norm. But teams like Cooper and Lotus realized that placing the engine behind the driver offered significant advantages in weight distribution and handling. The result? Faster cornering, improved traction, and a whole lot of head-scratching from the old guard. The writing was on the wall. The future of F1 was rear-engined. This period also saw the rise of British engineering prowess. Teams like Lotus, BRM, and Brabham became dominant forces, challenging the established Italian marques. The cars were becoming more sophisticated, with lighter materials, improved suspensions, and increasingly powerful engines. The aero age begins, wings and downforce. The 1970s ushered in a new era of F1, the age of aerodynamics. Teams began to realize that manipulating the airflow around the car could dramatically improve its performance, and thus began the arms race for downforce. Enter the Lotus 72, a car so revolutionary, so ridiculously ahead of its time, that it redefined what an F1 car could be. Designed by the legendary Colin Chapman, the 72 featured a wedge-shaped body, side-mounted radiators, and most importantly, wings. These weren't just for show. These wings generated downforce, sucking the car to the track and allowing for insane cornering speeds. It was a revelation. The 72's dominance was a wake-up call for the rest of the grid. Aerodynamics was no longer a novelty. It was the key to victory. The quest for downforce had begun, and it would change the face of F1 forever. Section 5. The power of air-ground effect and turbo engines. The 1980s in F1 were a wild ride. It was the decade of excess, of turbocharged engines that sounded like Krakatoa erupting, and ground effects so extreme they could suck a car to the track like a limpet. Ground effect, for those unfamiliar with the dark arts of F1 aerodynamics, essentially uses the underside of the car to create downforce. Think of it like a giant vacuum cleaner, sucking the car to the tarmac. Cars like the Brabham BT49, designed by the brilliant Gordon Murray, exploited this to devastating effect. The BT49, with its radical fan car design, literally sucked itself to the track, generating ludicrous levels of downforce. This was also the era of turbocharging. Teams like Renault, Ferrari and BMW unleashed monsters with over 1,000 horsepower. These cars were brutally fast, but also notoriously difficult to handle. It was a time when drivers needed nerves of steel and a right foot made of asbestos. Section 6. Tragedy and transformation. Safety takes center stage. The 1990s began with a chilling reminder of the dangers inherent in motorsport. The death of Ayrton Senna at Imola in 1994 sent shockwaves through F1 and sparked a fundamental shift in the sport's approach to safety. Senna's death, along with the fatal crash of Roland Ratzenberger earlier that weekend, forced F1 to confront its demons. Changes were made, and quickly. Tracks were modified, safety regulations tightened, and car design underwent a radical overhaul. Cockpits were reinforced, crash structures improved, and the dreaded launchpad effect of earlier cars was addressed. This period also saw the introduction of grooved tires, designed to reduce cornering speeds and make the racing less reliant on outright downforce. It wasn't just about making the cars safer. It was about changing the culture of safety in F1. Section 7. Hybrid revolution, the dawn of a new era. The 2000s saw F1 enter the 21st century with a bang. Well, not a bang exactly, more like a whir. The hybrid era had arrived. In 2009, the FIA introduced new regulations aimed at promoting fuel efficiency and reducing the sport's environmental impact. This led to the development of hybrid power units, combining a turbocharged internal combustion engine with an electric motor. These hybrid systems were incredibly complex, but also incredibly efficient. They recovered energy normally wasted during braking and used it to boost acceleration. It was a technological tour de force. This era also saw the rise of computer-aided design, or CAD, and computational fluid dynamics, CFD. Teams could now design and test their cars virtually, refining their aerodynamics and performance with unprecedented precision. Section 8. Modern marvels, the peak of F1 engineering. The 2010 S to the present day have witnessed the pinnacle of F1 engineering. The cars are technological marvels, pushing the boundaries of aerodynamics, material science, and hybrid technology. Today's F1 cars are sculpted by the wind, with intricate front wings, complex barge boards, and rear wings that wouldn't look out of place on a stealth fighter jet. They generate astonishing levels of downforce, allowing drivers to corner at speeds that defy belief. Safety also remains paramount. The introduction of the Halo device, a titanium structure that protects the driver's head, has been credited with saving multiple lives. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing addition, but it's a testament to F1's commitment to driver safety. Section 9. The future of speed. What's next for F1? So, what does the future hold for F1? What technological marvels will we witness in the coming years? One thing's for sure, the quest for speed, efficiency, and safety will continue to drive innovation. We're likely to see even greater integration of hybrid and electric technology. Some even predict a fully electric future for F1, although the thought of a silent race makes me want to weep into my driving gloves. Sustainable fuels are also becoming increasingly important. F1 is committed to reducing its carbon footprint, and the development of biofuels and synthetic fuels is a key part of this effort. And then there's the wild card active aerodynamics. Imagine wings that change shape on the fly, adapting to different parts of the track and optimizing downforce for maximum performance. It sounds like science fiction, but in the world of F1, anything is possible. Section 10. Conclusion, a legacy of innovation. From the rudimentary machines of the 1950s to the technological marvels of today, F1 cars have always been at the forefront of automotive innovation. They are a testament to human ingenuity, a relentless pursuit of speed, and a constant reminder that the only limit is our imagination. The history of F1 is a story of triumphs and tragedies, of groundbreaking innovations and spectacular crashes. But through it all, one thing has remained constant: the insatiable human desire to go faster, to push the boundaries of what's possible, and to leave our mark on the world, one tire track at a time.